Let's search this one here.
In 2023, tech CEOs predicted AI would replace 80% of developers by 2020.
Junior developers. Because LLM as good as a junior, as good as a senior, as good as a master. There's yeah, I saw a picture where, you know, or like a timeline. Right now, AI is replacing juniors. Eventually, it's going to be good enough to replace normals. Then it's going to replace seniors. And then it's going to replace everybody. But are we going to get there?
25. But
That's a
here's what
good one.
actually happened. We're now hiring more developers than ever before. But not because AI failed, it's because they finally understood what software development actually is. And if you're learning to code right now, or worried about your job, what I'm about to show you changes everything. In March 2024, a company called Cognition AI launched Devin. They called it the first AI software engineer. The demo was incredible. Devin could plan, code, test, and deploy applications autonomously. It solved real GitHub issues. It passed engineering interviews. The internet absolutely lost it. Developer Twitter went into full panic mode. Is this it? Is this the end? But here's what happened next. People actually tried using Devin on real projects, and the hype collapsed almost immediately.
Surprise, surprise.
Turns out, Devin could handle simple, well-defined tasks in controlled environments. But give it a real production codebase with actual business requirements,
and most likely it's going to wipe out your whole hard drive. Deleted my entire home directory, wiped my whole Mac. That is beautiful. And you want that in production, you want that to be, you know,
it struggled just like every other AI tool. Companies that rushed to replace their devs with AI, including those using Devin, were desperately hiring developers back within months. Not because AI was bad, but because everyone misunderstood what software development actually is. See, building software isn't just about writing code. That's the easy part. The hard part? That's where AI completely falls apart. Let me show you exactly what I mean. First, there's the context problem. AI can build a to-do app in 30 seconds. Impressive. But here's the reality. Production software has hundreds of thousands of lines of code spread across dozens of interconnected files. AI has a context window. It literally can't hold your entire codebase in memory at once. So when you ask it to refactor a feature that touches 47 different files, it loses track, creates
I don't know if eventually you're gonna have like, you know, on-device models and on-device training for these types of dedicated tasks. So you would overcome this specific limit.
inconsistencies and breaks existing functionality. A recent study analyzed 153 million lines of AI-generated code. The result? Code churn. Code that has to be fixed or reverted doubled compared to human-written code. Even worse, 1 in 5 security leaders reported their companies suffered actual production incidents because AI-generated code slipped through. But the real killer is the requirements problem. Here's what actually happens in the real world. A client says, "We need a payment system." Sounds simple, right? But then
You get the most popular and the most inefficient ways of coding, because a real professional is going to think about what he wants to do. He's going to think about the whole process, and he's going to try to optimize as much as they can, instead of doing like whole. If you can do something in one line, why are you going to do it like in a whole chunk of code?
Then you start asking questions. What payment providers? What about refunds? failed transactions, recurring subscriptions, international currencies, tax calculations, fraud detection. Suddenly, that simple request has 50 business rules attached to it. And here's the thing, clients don't know these rules until you ask them. I watched a developer spend 2 weeks building a booking system based on what the client said they wanted. Perfect code, clean architecture. Client sees it and says, wait, what about group bookings? What about cancellations within 24 hours? What about members versus non-members? None of that was mentioned in the original request. AI can't extract these hidden requirements. It takes what you say literally. But experienced developers, we know the questions that need asking. And then there's the decision-making problem. Every line of code you write is a trade-off. Do we optimize for speed or readability? Do we add that feature now or wait until we have more users? Do we refactor this technical debt or ship the new feature the client is waiting for? These aren't coding decisions. They're business decisions that require understanding context, priorities, and consequences. I've seen AI suggest solutions that technically work, but would create maintenance nightmares 6 months down the line.
Yeah. Oh man, that is so funny.
AI suggests solutions that technically
Spaghetti
work, but would create
code. Spaghetti code. That means it's a whole bunch of spaghetti shit that you have to go through to understand what it's doing.
maintenance nightmares 6 months down the line.
There's the same concept in networking. Oh man, that is beautiful. I mean, super easy to work there. No issues whatsoever.
Line. It doesn't think about the junior developer who will inherit this code. It doesn't consider your team's expertise. It doesn't know your deadlines or your budget constraints. Now, here's the thing. AI isn't useless. It's just not a replacement. It's a power tool. And honestly, it's a pretty incredible power tool. Think of it this way. Before power drills, carpenters used hand drills. Power drills made them faster, not obsolete. That's exactly what AI is for developers. AI crushes repetitive code. Database schemas, API boilerplate, test templates. Stuff that used to take hours now takes minutes. Should I use recursion or iteration here? AI can show you both options in seconds. But here's the critical part. You're still making the final call. You're the one who reviews the code, catches the edge cases, ensures it fits your architecture, validates that it actually solves the problem. The workflow isn't AI replaces developer. It's developer uses AI to move faster. You provide the vision and context. AI handles the tedious implementation. You review and integrate. And the data backs this up. Studies show developers using AI are 35% more productive on average. But that's multiplication, not replacement. The best developers are leveraging AI to build more, faster. They're not being replaced, they're being supercharged. So what does this mean for the industry? First,
oh man. So people that are going to be good with AI, they're gonna have they're gonna stay there. So if you have one developer that's able to now do the job of 5 developers with AI assisted tools, you're, technically you should be able to remove 4 others developers.
developer jobs aren't disappearing, they're evolving. We're seeing more demand than ever because as AI helps build faster, companies want more features, not fewer. Every business is becoming a software business. Every product needs apps. Every workflow needs automation. But the skills that matter are shifting. Syntax matters less. AI can handle that. What matters now is understanding the problem you're solving, knowing how to break down vague requirements into concrete specifications. What matters is architectural thinking, designing systems that scale, that are
You're going to see that the soft skills are going to be more valuable.
maintainable, that your team can actually work with. These skills aren't going away. If anything, they're becoming more valuable. Because in a world where everyone has access to AI that writes code, the developers who understand systems will be worth their weight in gold. Here's the bottom line. AI was supposed to replace developers because everyone thought coding was just typing syntax. But software development is problem solving. It's understanding messy human needs. It's making judgment calls when requirements are unclear and stakes are high. AI can generate code, but it can't navigate ambiguity. And that's exactly why we're hiring more developers, not fewer. The future isn't AI versus developers. It's developers who know how to wield AI versus developers who don't. The ones who learn to use AI as a force multiplier, they're about to have an incredible decade. Now, if you want to know the exact 5 skills that will make you irreplaceable in the AI era, I just made a video breaking down each one. Just click it and I'll see you there.
That's pretty cool. That was a great video. Let's watch the last one. In 2 months.
This is likely to.
Well, it's looking a little bit like that, to be honest. Billionaires are building a future without humans. It's going to be businesses selling services and products to businesses that sell products and services to businesses, and so on and so on. And you're going to have a cesspool of businesses doing things for businesses.
To be a total disruption, upending of our civilization. And in the worst case scenario, it could cause human extinction. The companies are now investing giant amounts of money.
NVIDIA is making a $100 billion investment in OpenAI.
This is the...
Oh, bro. You know when you're in high school and you're doing an oral presentation in front of everybody and you just look like a whole bunch of stupid ass retards and you can't wait to go back to your seat? That's the face he has right now. This is not impressive.
NVIDIA is making a $100 billion investment in
Look
OpenAI.
at that. Yeah, that's what we said we'd do.
This is the largest AI cluster in the world.
Oh, that is so cool, man. Hey, my name's NVIDIA and welcome to my crib. Come on, guys. Let's see my server farms.
100,000 GPUs is built to
Oh,
power.
wow, man. Do you know how many rare minerals it takes to do this? Man, we've polluted Earth for 150 years more easily, man. It's in the pocket, guys. Come on, man.
Rock.
Why are companies building these things? The real reason, the goal is to not give people the tools that will just make them more productive, but to replace people. So if you have an agent that can fully replace a software engineer that's making $150,000, $200,000 a year, and you can replace it with an AGI system and charge $20,000.
Okay, AGI system here, that's a little much.
For that, that's a giant business proposition. So to get you thinking about this,
but yeah, that's the whole thing, right? So right now it's good enough to replace junior developers. Eventually it's going to be good enough to replace developers. Then it's going to be good enough to replace senior developers. Then nobody's going to be working anymore, and it's going to go for the C-suites. So you're going to have autonomous companies growing as fast as they can without any more human input.
I would like to first give you a little pitch for my new law firm. There's a legal advisor, there's a client. The legal advisor gives free legal advice on the basis of data that they get from their client. And then the legal advisor just takes that data and sells it to companies that can then generate ads for those people. So is anyone troubled by this a little bit? Don't worry, because I fixed it. It's an AI legal advisor. If you can capture a significant fraction of all the intellectual labor that is happening in the world, funneling it through one.
Okay, and this is something that, you know, the companies are doing and people are trying to do as well. All right, we saw this earlier this week. Google extension steal ChatGPT conversation. All right, so they're stealing AI chat logs. The communications that you have are intercepted. They're monetizing that shit. They're making money on your back. They're gonna make you pay for these LLMs, and everybody's gonna try to get a slice of the pie.
Company, that is an enormous prize, and that is the prize that they are after. These companies and these people are locked in a race that they cannot easily get out of. And a big question I think is here is who decides? We don't have to build superhuman general purpose AI. Who's going to decide whether we do it or not? Well, it's kind of these guys. Company leaders themselves. You can look up their values of PDoom on Wikipedia.
I think I'm gonna have to save this picture because I keep looking it up. OpenAI NVIDIA Trump is here. Alright, I'm gonna need to install Greenshot because fucking mean extension. Fuck you mean, bruh. That was an update this year. Pretty impressive. Yeah. Yeah, you're good. Yes, thank you for your work. Yes, thank you, thank you. Ah, shit. Coño. Why? Left click, I think, what I have. This one here usually is, alright, I'm sorry about that. So that's it, and this one usually is paste. One second, over. And this one I had the double click or cut. There we go. All right, sorry about that. So. I think I got them mixed up. What the fuck am I doing? Print screen. So cut is here. This one has the arbitrary key. All right, and this one here is this. Okay. Bro. Cut. What am I doing? Oh, fuck, I think I have them mixed up. I have them mixed up. I had it right the first time. So it's a print screen. Yeah, I fucked it up. Alright. Control X. Arbitrary print screen. Alright, we got it. Oh no, wait, there's 6 pictures. Oh, no fucking way. Alright. Jeez. What did I do? What did I do? All right, let's keep it like that. So cool, guys. All right, sorry about
Wikipedia,
that.
some of them, they're not zero. When asked what happens when things start to get scary, they say things like, well, we'll pause. We tried in early 2023, put out a letter that said, let's pause. This is a really big deal. Advanced AI could represent a profound
Yeah, and they had also like the ethics teams leave and give their resignations.
change in the history of life on Earth. We and 30,000 other people or so asked for a little pause. Nobody paused. They could have paused. The government did not step in and make that happen. The idea that as the money is bigger, the prize is closer, the incentives are stronger.
This is called the sunken cost fallacy. Sunk costs? I'm sorry. Why are we likely to continue with an investment even if it would be rational to give it up? Why? Why? Then they're going to pause. Seems laughable to me. If you compare what a model does and then what a state-of-the-art model does a year later, things have just rapidly increased. Feels like we're seeing something almost every day. It's improving. That time scale was years, and then it was at months. This is happening now. This is imminent. I'm projecting that within a couple of years, capability is going to be tangibly progressing on a time scale of weeks or less. If you imagine 50 weeks, that's 50 tangible improvements. Not only that the but they don't make a model every week. They don't, they don't train that every single week. So the improvements, they're not made at that scale. And once the model is trained, we already know that, you can't change it. It is static. So I don't see where there would be any like intelligence explosion anymore. This just feels like control the position to make it seem that it's even better than what it really is, because there's just a whole bunch of shit. The AI systems are getting more and more powerful, but that the improvement, they're getting more and more powerful. How so? Because they use data centers right now. $35 billion to, let's say that they're working right now with 35 billion data centers, right? And they want to do 100 billion data centers. So how is it that they're making it better and more powerful? They're just adding some compute power. I mean, I don't believe that. It's also speeding up. Elon is currently at 1 to 5 years. Dario Amodei, 2 to 5-ish. Sam Altman at 2. So who said that? Okay, Elon Musk said that. And okay, these guys, that's their projections. But it's not like they have like a bias, right? 2 to 5. Even the skeptical experts are now in the 5 to 10 year range. We're even having to invent new tests. AGI of what? Is going to be dependent on those 10 gigawatts of electricity needs. Not even, because that would be the data centers that we're gonna build right now, right? So we can only imagine with the logic, the way the approach that they're using right now, we can only extrapolate and think in the future the usage of electricity, or the power that is going to be needed to power these type of machines is going to be so great that there won't be any power left to do anything else. Are they going to come up with like some new energy source?
The latest one being the ominously entitled Humanity's Last Exam. Teams of professionals getting together to build specific exams that are hard for AI, exams that no human could actually do on their own. This is like teams.
That is so stupid. I'm sorry. You seem like a bread person. This is such a stupid way to say it. People are doing it. How how can you say that people wouldn't be able to answer it? That doesn't make sense. People program software. Software have bug, right? You have 0 days. They are there because people make mistakes. If it's so stupid. People are making these exams. Of course, people could answer that.
Teams of professionals. So we've seen this huge progress. If you had the button that would delay AGI and superintelligence for 5 years, how many people would push it? I'd slam that button. Most of the public would slam that button. There is some opportunity there, but the coordination is not there. A different agent has to step in. That agent is almost certainly the government. What that could look like is not that weird if
As part of US President Donald Trump state visit to the UK. All right.
if you had new weight loss drugs. It's a big race. Nonetheless, they have to test those drugs to make sure that they're safe. I came up with a new weight loss drug. Almost certainly works. It might kill a lot of people, but we can't stop because otherwise some other company will deploy it before us. We would never take this seriously. AGI.
What the fuck are you talking about? This actually happened. We actually succumbed to that.
And AI is in this weird exceptionalist thing that has come out of the tech industry, which has been very unregulated. But now we're getting to systems that are going to take
Bro, the designs here are so cool. Very colorful.
actions in the world, have real consequences for people. So the main thing we need to do, if you have an AI system, show us that you can control it. Not that big of a thing to ask.
Show that you can control it. Right now, they're showing examples that it's not happening.
See that. They are doing evaluations, and those evaluations come back and say, well, when pressed, this AI system tries to escape and copy itself onto other things.
What the fuck does that even mean? Honestly, I need a real honest explanation, because why is it yeah, that's on me. That's on me. A little air bubble.
This doesn't seem great. See you next time with the next bigger model. There's no this is catastrophically not the right way to develop AI systems. This is madness. They think that developing AGI or superintelligence is going to give them power. This is just wrong. AGI is something that is going to absorb rather than grant power. This is something that is going to act on its own. It's going to have goals that will almost inevitably conflict with human goals. They will give us advice that is good over and over again.
That is so it's an overview. It's an oversimplified way of saying that. Because the thing is, if you put alignment, right, with your LLM, you can present something that is supposed to be alignment, right? But the way that it would interpret it, if it's super intelligent, it might interpret it in a way that the way that it does come into alignment with what you said, but by its own interpretation. But the thing is, the consequences would be different. The result would be different than what you would expect, because what is an ant to you? If an ant says don't damage us, and you take the colony and you move it, you uproot it, maybe you said you did something that was aligned with the instruction you were given, but you uprooted everything and you fucked everything for it. So maybe we could have something like that, but I really doubt that we're gonna get to that point, unfortunately.
who will just start listening to it and pressing yes, yes, yes. We will give them power even if they don't take it. The idea that we will have, a person that is in charge of this super intelligent system that is thinking 1,000 times faster than them and that they're going to be in charge of that doesn't make any sense. They're thinking of it as a tool. What they're building is not a tool. The US and China both have to understand this. If they build AGI and super intelligence, that is not something that will suddenly make US ruler of the world or China the ruler of the world. That is something that will make super intelligence the ruler of the world. If a race can't be won, you choose not to enter that race. We realized that it was a bad idea to have nukes in space. You could drop nuke from space really quickly, no defense against it. Let's come up with a agreement that we're both not going to do that because it's very destabilizing. We're going to need something similar with AGI and superintelligence. People think, oh, you could never control AI because it's software, you can just copy it. People are doing it all over the place. Chips are everywhere. A lot of the news on this topic is bad, but here's some good news. The custom chips that these AI systems are trained on are the most amazing and complex and sophisticated artifacts that humanity has ever built. 100 billion transistors on this little wafer. They're all built with machines that are developed by one company in the Netherlands. Nobody else can make these machines. And the chips themselves are designed by a handful of companies. NVIDIA and AMD and Google make some. So there's an incredibly tight supply chain, way harder to build one of these chips than to enrich uranium. IBM can't do it. Intel can't do it, even though they're trying super hard. So that means there's an incredibly tight supply chain, but it's actually much better than that, because if I leave my phone lying around and someone swipes it, that's super.
Just so you know, 3 weeks ago, so this is before all the announcements of the shortages and the stop to sell memory to consumers.
Annoying. Like, I don't have my phone, but also they don't have my phone, because as soon as this happens, I will say, Apple, please deactivate my phone, and my phone will become a brick. You can do it with a $500 phone. You can do it with a $20,000 GPU. Even the mechanisms for doing that on the hardware level exist in current GPUs like the H100 and further generations. We could know exactly where every high-powered AI chip goes. We could monitor how much computation it's doing. One of the first things that people say when you talk about AI getting out of control is what? Shut it down. Unplug it, turn it off. We have to have a way of actually doing that. So if the AI system is super intelligent and doesn't want to be shut off, we need to build that into the system. A very robust way to do that, if the chips have to continually ask for permission to keep running, then you don't have to shut off the system by like pulling the kill switch. You just have to stop giving permission. What's called a dead man switch, and this is totally doable. These are sort
I mean, we make mistakes. We do things that have mistakes in them, and this is in no way foolproof.
of risks that are also ethical issues. Cybersecurity risks from AI that can not just program, but can hack. Proliferation of risky tech. If you can have an AI
There's dedicated LLMs right now specialized for producing malware and other types of attacking software.
system that knows how to design biological weapons or chemical weapons. Let's hope that it doesn't get into the hands of people who want to design those. AI is getting built into weaponry, into autonomous weapons that can kill people.
The same shit that does hallucinations, by the way.
So there's a lot of issues and a lot of ethical considerations around all of these. There's a risk of loss of control if your personal assistant is way more competent than you are and makes better.
So as you see the humanoid robot here, the same as these. So we already know that there's going to be a person controlling this robot remotely. So, I mean, this is plausible.
Decisions
100%.
and get things done faster. At some point, you're not really calling the shots, right? Your personal assistant is telling you what to do.
Yes, your personal assistant controlled by someone else.
And you're saying, okay, yeah, do that thing. Most of the AI that people are experiencing now feels like a tool, and it's not something that's going to run amok on its own. AGI would be something that is much more.
That's not true. Well, because it does hallucinations, we're just gonna right. This happened just a week ago, so
autonomous than that. And autonomy is not in itself a bad thing. Autonomous vehicles are also great. But again, we don't want an autonomous vehicle that is motivated to like try to gain huge amounts of power in the world. Like that makes no sense. Like a hammer, it doesn't go off and do crazy stuff. It hammers the stuff that you want it to do. We don't have to combine the autonomy and the intelligence into one.
I was gonna say because it's the hammer is not connected to the internet, but you know, since the Internet of Things, there's a whole bunch of shit that has Wi-Fi chips on it. Most likely is there. IoT hammer. Bro, that's a joke. Yeah. Fuck. Thank God. I mean, what's the point? But
Package that is meant to wholesale replace people. And so at some level, it's very simple. Don't do the crazy thing that is going to build human replacements and run away into super.
there's a very interesting concept, you know, for AI, but unapplicable since model are static
Intelligence. That is
unless they do like a complete overhaul of the way that it works. And those models, they're like a snapshot of the training data that was used. That's it.
unfortunately the road we are.
Oh yeah, but now, yeah, that wasn't a good question. There you go. August 2025. The only reason why it gives answers right now, recent, is because it was connected to the internet. But in effect, um, the data is from August. So
Heading down right now. Why are companies investing $1 trillion in AI, throwing giant amounts of computation and giant amounts of data? Translates very unexpected.
just there's a very weird way to put it. They're not investing in that. They're actually setting up systems to steal that and to impose price hikes everywhere on everything: electricity, power, hardware. As I said before, this came out right before the Micron announcement for their consumer business model. So
Effectively into these very powerful, very competent models. As you crank up the amount of computation, those capabilities increase. You see that more computation equals more capability.
yes, but there's the law of diminishing return. What are you gonna do with a whole fucking 100 billion data center that's gonna be outdated in a year and a half by some new Chinese method? You know, investors are not gonna get into that. What's gonna be the point? Are you gonna build like bigger and bigger data centers? When is it gonna stop?
We can guarantee is that this general purpose AI is going to get better. Why do we think that? The more training, the more data.
It does get better, and it does make sense for these companies to do that because, as I mentioned before, right now it's able to replace junior developers. Then it's going to be able to replace developers, and further later, it's going to be able to replace senior developers. So if your plan is to become a business controlled by AI and doing business with other businesses, this is a foolproof plan. But is it going to work? Are we going to get there? That's what I got. So curious. That's why we started this channel. Let's see how far it goes.
The better they are. So this is the number of computations, truly astronomical numbers of like 10 to the 24. You can see GPT-4 is that.
Bro, that's a lot of zeros.
Computation. Do we think that? The more training, the more data, the 24.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18.
You can see GPT-4 is that diamond way at the top. This is basically the amount of error. As you get more training, it very smoothly gets more and more accurate. So we pretty much know if we go farther and use more computation, the model is going to get more accurate. And so what happens if we do that again? What happens if we 10x the number of synapses? So that would look like extending this graph a little bit farther. If we think of someone with 10 times the synapses learn stuff for 300 years, what would that person be like? Probably pretty smart. You can easily imagine something that is reasonably competent lab. What would that person do? If we think of someone
next for prediction
with 10 times the synapses learn stuff for 300 years, what would that person be like? Probably pretty smart. You can easily imagine something that is reasonably competent lab assistant that helps you out, but isn't a super genius at Nobel Prize winning biologist. It helps you out in the lab. This is good. Or things like AlphaFold, super intelligent, but very narrow, not autonomous. It's just that triple combination that we have to avoid. Now, I should say, this is making it sound a little bit easier than it actually is. And the reason is we have to avoid.
Oh shit, I think I forgot the file extension. We're good.
Now, I should say, this is making it sound a little bit easier than it actually is. And the reason is because if you try to build something that is just very, very intelligent, it turns out that it is useful to make it more general. And if you make something that is very, very general, it turns out that it tends to get more autonomous. These things do drag each other toward this triple combination, and it will take actual effort and have the right incentive structures for it. So I do think it's possible. The alignment research is way, way behind the capabilities research. We're like way closer to figuring out how to build AGI and superintelligence than how to control it. We don't know how to make AI systems deeply care about something in a way that we can feel sure of and can't just be like undermined in some way. Beneath the persona is that base model. This is the origin of that Shoggoth meme. The tentacled monster is there and it's got a happy little smiley face on it. So we don't know how to do it. The current plan, we're going to build a capable AI system and then we're going to use it to do.
Yeah. AI monitoring AI.
Our alignment research for us. Oh, smart AI system, please tell us how to control you and how to align you to our.
That sounds about right. So bro, can you change my password? This is, oh man, I don't know. It's so obvious. It's so stupid.
Wishes doesn't make any sense. It's like a fern controlling General Motors. So there's a fern that we want to have taken care of by General Motors. And a kindergartner says, oh, look at the beautiful fern. I want it to be taken care of. So the kindergartner says, okay, I've got this hard problem. General Motors, it might be building a factory that's going to hurt my fern. There's a first grader. I'll convince the first grader. First grader says, crap, I can't control General Motors either. But there's a second grader. So they convince the second grader to help them. And they go all the way up, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, high schooler, manager, all the way up to the CEO of General Motors. Is the fern now actually in control of General Motors? No. General Motors might take care of the fern, but it is going to take care of the fern exactly to the degree that the shareholders and other executives at General Motors happen to care about ferns. It's going to have nothing to do with the whole chain of instructions. You haven't undone the impossibility of that problem by breaking it up into many smaller problems that just add up to the same impossibility. And so that's my concern about this direction. You know, I get the vision. We're not in a great spot. People are feeling quite pessimistic about the future. And can we have someone else in charge? Some other thing that will save us from ourselves. That will be the AI world that we're sort of spectators and not really participants in. So that is a decision we have to make. It's a handful of CEOs of tech companies who are deciding what this is. So if we have obedient super intelligences that just do what people tell them to do, that is probably a super dangerous world also. If we just dump a whole bunch of obedient super slaves, whatever their owner told them to do, they would just immediately do with Superman's powers. What would that world look like? That is a destroyed world. I guess everybody fights it out with their slave superhero and fights all the other slave superheroes. On the other hand, if we have sovereign agents, we're not in control of them and we're not going to get it back. What is the world that we want to build with these? We would want to actually understand the science and the engineering of these systems before building them. If you asked someone 10 years ago, what are the things that you must not do? They'd be like, okay, whatever you do, keep it in a box. Don't hook it up to the internet. For the love of God, don't teach it how to program. You probably
Yeah, these we went right by, but
don't even want it talking to you because it's going to convince you of all kinds of crazy stuff. If you go to
oh yeah, so if you don't know about that, there's already people having like cyber psychosis. There's people using it as a girlfriend, boyfriend. So
on the list of things that you must not do. We're just running through them and doing those things. Programming in particular, the reason it is very risky is that that is the gateway to them improving themselves. They are building AI programmers not just because they want to help, but also because they want to replace AI researchers that can do AI research faster, and that's the intelligence runaway. So this is just complete madness. Not only
but I mean, if that works for a while, right? And it does research, eventually they're gonna run out of thing that we produce to research, and then I mean the point is that they're able to research themselves, but we can't even do that for ourselves, right? We haven't fixed all the mental issues. We haven't fixed all the introspection, right? We haven't fixed what we have inside, and we're going to produce something. So it's going to have some errors, human errors, and we're going to use that to do research on itself. It doesn't make sense whatsoever.
only are they like, oops, I'm accidentally doing it the dangerous way, they're deliberately doing the super dangerous thing so that they can race to the end fastest. So there are all these very, very, very disruptive things. Some of them super large, like nobody having any economic value anymore. This rate's very high on the bigness meter. I brought a bigness meter. So where is AI? It's safe to say that it's going to be somewhere in between computers and the beginning of life. Now that's a bold statement. Computers are a big deal, but AI is fundamentally changing the way we do computational tasks. Beginning of life, that seems grandiose, but really we are generating a new sort of intelligent thing. This could be the beginning.
I mean, what the fuck are we talking about? OpenAI loses 11.5 billion in a quarter. In a quarter. What are you gonna do? Okay, and that's even with that $200 a month subscription. What the fuck are you gonna do when you have a fucking 10 gigawatts data center? Come on. Is it gonna be 10 times worse? Are they gonna lose hundreds of billions every quarter? Is it gonna happen with every company? What the fuck are we talking about?
Of a very long time of AI in the universe, but it's all pretty far on the bigness meter. Now everybody's doing AI policy. Everybody sees that this is incredibly important. We're at a very interesting place as a species. There's been millions and millions of years of intelligence. There's been 100,000 years or so of Homo sapiens, but we're really at a turning point. So we've got big questions and big decisions. We all, I think, have to engage with that, because if we don't ask those big questions, if we don't make those big decisions, other people will simply make them for us. Thanks for listening. Pleasure to be here.
Pretty good video.